Earth had been peaceful for decades, with humans advancing in technology and exploring the stars. Little did they know, they were being watched. The ticks, a small but highly intelligent alien species, had been monitoring Earth from their hidden bases on Mars. They considered humans as dangerous but valuable prey. From their observation posts, the ticks studied human behavior, strengths, and weaknesses. They watched cities grow and forests shrink. They analyzed human weapons and determined that despite their technological advances, humans would be no match for tick hunting technology. The Tick Council, led by High Hunter Crix, finally gave the order, begin the collection. They saw Earth as the perfect hunting ground and humans as the ultimate trophy. Their small size was no disadvantage with their advanced technology and natural speed. One day, they launched their attack. Small groups of ticks landed on Earth in stealth ships designed to evade human detection systems. The ships, no larger than buses, touched down in remote areas across the planet. The hunting parties emerged, each tick standing only 2 feet tall with blue skin that could change shade to blend with surroundings. They started hunting humans in remote areas, forests, mountains, and isolated farms. The first disappearances were barely noticed by authorities. A hiker here, a farmer there. The ticks used advanced weapons that could stun humans without killing them. After all, damaged trophies were worthless. The ticks saw this as a sport, collecting humans as trophies to display their hunting prowess. Jack Miller worked as a forest ranger in the North American wilderness. At 42, he preferred the quiet company of trees and wildlife to the noise of cities. His cabin stood alone near a lake, 20 miles from the nearest town. The isolation that once brought him peace would now make him a target. For several nights, Jack noticed strange lights in the sky. Not aircraft, these moved too erratically, hovering then darting away at impossible speeds. He reported them to his supervisor, who dismissed his concerns. Probably just drones from those city folks who bought the vacation property on the other side of the lake, his supervisor had said. But Jack knew better. He had been a ranger for 15 years and had never seen anything move like that. One evening, while checking his property after hearing unusual sounds, Jack found strange footprints in the soft earth near his woodshed. They were too small for a human but with 5 toes and a strange pattern, almost like handprints but clearly meant for walking. The stride length suggested whatever made them moved quickly. Concerned, Jack grabbed his rifle and followed the tracks. They led toward the lake, becoming fainter on the harder ground. As he approached the water's edge, the forest went silent. No birds, no insects, just an unnatural stillness that made the hair on his neck stand up. Then he heard it, a high-pitched sound, just at the edge of human hearing. It made his teeth ache. Jack turned toward the sound, raising his rifle. That's when he saw them. 3 small blue figures standing between the trees, watching him with large, black eyes. They wore what looked like armor made of an unknown shiny material. In their hands were thin, tube-like devices pointed at him. What the hell? Jack managed to say before one of the creatures made a rapid clicking sound. Before he could react, he felt a sharp pain in his neck. His muscles locked up, and his rifle fell from numb fingers. As Jack's body collapsed to the ground, his mind remained conscious. He could see and hear everything but couldn't move a single muscle. The small creatures approached cautiously, making excited chirping sounds to each other. One prodded him with a thin rod, perhaps making sure he was completely immobilized. Their voices sounded almost like birds, but with a mechanical quality that no earth creature possessed. The largest of the 3 took out a small device and waved it over Jack's body. A holographic display appeared, showing what seemed to be his vital signs. The creature made a sound that might have been satisfaction. Working together, the 3 aliens lifted Jack with surprising strength. Despite their small size, they carried him effortlessly through the forest to a clearing where a small spacecraft waited, its surface reflecting the moonlight like oil on water. When Jack woke up, he was in a small, clear cage. The walls seemed to be made of something stronger than glass but just as transparent. Around him were other humans in similar cages, men and women of different ages, all looking confused and frightened. Outside the cages, small blue creatures with large eyes and tiny bodies moved around, looking at their captives with what appeared to be pride. Some took images of the humans, perhaps recording their trophies. Others made adjustments to control panels on the walls. The hunt had been successful, and the ticks were celebrating their new trophies. For them, the sport had just begun. For humanity, a new and unexpected chapter in their history was about to unfold. As days passed in captivity, Jack observed the ticks closely. They were only about 2 feet tall with blue skin that changed slightly in shade depending on their apparent mood or activity. They had large heads with oversized black eyes that never seemed to blink, tiny nose slits, and thin mouths. Their skinny limbs belied their surprising strength. Despite their small size, they had advanced technology far beyond human capabilities. The ticks moved with quick, jerky motions, almost like birds. They communicated through chirps, clicks, and high-pitched sounds that hurt human ears. When they spoke to each other, their conversations seemed rapid and complex. Jack counted at least 30 ticks on the ship. They wore different colored bands on their arms, suggesting some kind of rank or job system. Some tended to the human captives, while others worked on equipment or monitored screens covered in strange symbols. In Jack's section of the ship, there were 5 other humans in nearby cages: Tom, a college student with shaggy hair who had been camping when taken; Mary, a middle-aged doctor who kept trying to talk to the aliens; Bob, a weathered farmer who mostly kept to himself; Lisa, a former military pilot with short hair and alert eyes; and Dave, a mechanic with grease-stained hands who spent his time studying the cage locks. "We need to figure out what they want," Mary whispered one night when the lighting dimmed in what seemed to be an artificial night cycle. "They're not killing us, just keeping us." "We're trophies," Lisa replied grimly. "I've seen how they take pictures of us, record us. It's like big game hunting back on Earth." Jack had noticed something interesting during their captivity: the ticks seemed to have poor resistance to Earth's bacteria and environments. Many of them were constantly cleaning themselves and the area around the human cages. Some ticks even wore what looked like breathing masks when approaching humans. "They're scared of something about us," Jack told the others, keeping his voice low. "Watch how they clean everything we touch. And they never make direct contact with our skin." Tom nodded. "I noticed that too. One of them jumped back when I sneezed yesterday. Like, really freaked out." The humans began to communicate more openly when they realized the ticks couldn't understand their language. They shared observations and began to form a picture of their captors. One day, a tick wearing a red armband approached Jack's cage. It seemed to be studying him with particular interest. Jack had been passing the time by carving a small wooden figure using a sliver of metal he had pried loose from his cot's frame. The alien watched, its head tilted to one side, as Jack shaped the wood into a small bird. The tick made a series of clicks that sounded almost like questions. It tapped on the clear wall of the cage and pointed at the carving. "You want to see it?" Jack said, knowing the alien couldn't understand. He held up the carving, and the tick moved closer, pressing its face against the transparent wall. Then something unexpected happened: Jack sneezed. The sudden sound and spray made the tick jump backward in alarm. It dropped the device it was holding and ran away, making high-pitched distress calls. Several other ticks rushed over, wearing protective gear. They sprayed the area with a mist that smelled like antiseptic and seemed panicked as they cleaned the outside of Jack's cage. "They're germaphobes," Mary whispered, watching the commotion. "Maybe their immune systems aren't adapted to Earth's bacteria." Dave leaned closer to Jack's cage. "I think I can pick these locks." The mechanism isn't that complex, just alien. If we create enough distraction. Over the next few days, the humans tested their theory. When ticks approached, they would cough or sneeze, noting how the aliens reacted with what seemed like fear or disgust. Even human sweat seemed to make them uncomfortable. Bob discovered that when he pressed his hand against the cage wall, leaving oils and prints, the ticks would immediately clean it, often wearing protective coverings over their hands. "It's like they're allergic to us," he muttered. Meanwhile, Lisa had been tracking the ticks' movements and routines. There's a pattern to their shifts. Fewer of them during what seems to be their night cycle. Jack shared the piece of metal he'd found with Dave, who studied the cage locks during quiet periods. "They use some kind of magnetic system," Dave explained. "But there's a manual override for emergencies. I watched one of them open a cage when they took that old man away yesterday." The humans began to formulate a plan. They would use the ticks' fear of human bacteria against them. "If we all create a disturbance at once, coughing, spitting, making them think we're sick, they might open the cages to check on us or clean," Jack suggested. Mary nodded. "And when they do, we use what Dave learned about the locks." As they finalized their plan, Jack looked at his fellow captives. 6 ordinary humans against an advanced alien species. The odds weren't good, but they had discovered something important: these hunters had a weakness. "Tomorrow," Jack whispered, "we show them that humans aren't just trophies to be collected. We're the most dangerous prey they could have chosen." The humans waited until the ship's lighting dimmed for the night cycle. Only 3 ticks remained on guard duty, moving between rows of cages with scanning devices. "Everyone ready?" Jack whispered. The others nodded. On Jack's signal, they began their plan. Mary started first, coughing violently and loudly. "Help! Something's wrong," she shouted, pressing against the clear wall of her cage. The nearest tick approached cautiously, scanning her through the barrier. Tom began coughing next, then Bob and Lisa. Soon all the humans were making alarming noises, some pretending to collapse. The 3 tick guards clicked rapidly to each other, clearly distressed by the sudden health crisis among their captives. One rushed away, presumably to get help, while the other 2 began checking the humans more closely. As planned, Jack made the most dramatic display. He pressed his face against the wall of his cage, leaving smears, then collapsed to the floor, shaking as if having a seizure. A tick wearing a yellow band rushed in, carrying what looked like medical equipment. It approached Jack's cage and activated the manual override, causing a section of the clear wall to slide open. The moment the cage opened, Jack sprang to his feet. The tick chirped in alarm and tried to back away, but Jack was faster. He grabbed the small alien, careful not to hurt it but firm enough to prevent escape. The other ticks reacted with panic, their skin changing to a pale blue. Dave had already used the metal piece to trigger his own cage's emergency release and was helping Lisa escape. Within moments, all 6 humans were free. "Don't hurt them unless necessary," Jack called out as Tom cornered a frightened tick. "We just need to contain them." The humans used the tick's own restraint devices to secure the aliens, then explored beyond their prison area. They found themselves in a large ship with curved corridors and strange lighting that seemed to come from the walls themselves. "This way," Lisa said, using her military training to navigate. "I've been mapping the ship based on where they take us for examinations." They moved cautiously through the ship, encountering and subduing several more ticks along the way. The aliens seemed genuinely shocked by the humans' escape and offered little resistance once captured. In a large central chamber, they made a shocking discovery. Transparent tubes lined the walls from floor to ceiling, each containing a human in suspended animation. There were hundreds, maybe thousands of them. "My God," Mary whispered. "They've been collecting humans all over the world." Jack approached one of the control panels. "We need to figure out how to wake these people up." Dave examined the technology. "I think I can work it out. The systems follow logical patterns, even if they're alien." While Dave worked, Bob found a weapons storage area. The tick stun weapons were small in human hands but still functional. "Armed and ready," he said, distributing them to the others. As they prepared to free the rest of the human captives, they heard a commotion. A small tick had been watching them from behind equipment. When spotted, instead of running away, it cautiously approached Jack, making soft chirping sounds. The alien held up its empty hands in what seemed like a universal gesture of peace. Then, to everyone's surprise, it pointed to the control panel and made a series of clicks. "I think," Lisa said slowly, "it wants to help us." Over the next few days, a strange shift occurred in the relationship between the humans and the ticks. While most of the small aliens had been secured in makeshift holding areas, some showed unexpected behavior. The tick that had offered to help Jack was the first. The humans had cautiously allowed it to assist them with the ship's systems. Jack named it Blue due to its deeper blue skin tone compared to the others. Blue seemed fascinated by humans, especially Jack. It followed him around the ship, observing his actions with curious eyes. When Jack sat down to eat, Blue would bring him tools or small objects, placing them carefully beside him. "I think it's giving you gifts," Mary observed as Blue presented Jack with a glowing crystal. "Like a cat bringing dead mice to its owner." Similar behavior began with other ticks. Lisa had stunned but not harmed a smaller tick during their escape. After recovering, that tick, which Lisa named Sparkle due to its shimmering skin, began following her everywhere. It would chirp excitedly when she entered a room and bring her interesting alien devices. "It's weird," Lisa told the others. "Yesterday I found it sleeping curled up outside my door." Bob, who had been working on food production systems, discovered that another tick had become attached to him after he had shared his rations with it. This one, named Chirp for its distinctive sound, helped Bob operate the ship's food synthesizers. "They're acting like pets," Bob said one evening as Chirp sat contentedly beside him, eating small nutrient cubes. "Or maybe like children looking for approval." Mary studied this behavior closely. "I think they come from a highly structured society. Look how they defer to the ones with red bands, those must be their leaders. But the ones without bands seem almost relieved to be free from that structure." The humans continued working to revive the other captives. With Blue's help, they had successfully awakened about 50 people, keeping them in a separate section of the ship until they could be briefed on the situation. Dave, who had been mapping the ship with Tom, made another discovery. According to these navigation charts, we're not the only hunting ground. They've been to at least 3 other planets. Jack pondered this while Blue sat nearby, watching him intently. "They're hunters by nature. Their whole culture seems built around it. But these ones," he gestured to Blue and the other friendly ticks, "they're different somehow." One morning, Jack woke to find Blue attempting to groom his hair, gently patting it with a small cleaning tool. Instead of pushing the alien away, Jack allowed it. Blue made a purring sound that seemed to indicate pleasure. "I think," Jack said to Mary later, "they've never experienced kindness before. Their society might be entirely based on dominance and submission." As more humans were revived, more ticks began showing attachment behaviors. What had started as a strange anomaly was becoming a pattern. "We didn't just escape being their trophies," Lisa said, watching Sparkle organize her tools in neat rows. "We've somehow turned them into our companions." 2 weeks after gaining control of the ship, the humans made a crucial breakthrough. Dave and Tom had been working with Blue and 2 other cooperative ticks to understand the alien technology. In a storage room, they discovered devices that resembled small, curved headsets. "We think these are translators," Dave explained to the others, holding up one of the devices. "Blue keeps pointing to its head and then its mouth when we show these to it." Jack volunteered to try first. He placed the device behind his ear, where it attached itself with a gentle suction. Blue made a series of adjustments to a control panel, its tiny fingers moving with precision across the alien symbols. Suddenly, Blue's chirps and clicks transformed into words in Jack's mind. The translation wasn't perfect, more concepts and images than exact language, but it was understandable. "Hunt friends now speak understand tick," came Blue's first translated words. The room fell silent as Jack stared at the small alien. "Yes," he replied slowly. "I can understand you." Within hours, all the core human group had translator devices. The communication was crude at first, with many concepts lost in translation, but it improved as both species learned to adjust their thinking. What they discovered about the ticks shocked them. On their home planet, the small aliens lived in rigid hierarchies. Their society valued hunting prowess above all else, with status determined by the rarity and danger of captured prey. Humans' most prized trophy, Blue explained during a group meeting. Intelligent prey highest honor for hunter. That's why they didn't kill us, Mary realized. We're more valuable alive as proof of their hunting skill. The ticks revealed more about their homeworld, a crowded planet with dwindling resources where competition was fierce and showing weakness meant losing everything. "No touch kindness on Tick World," Blue told Jack as they walked through the ship corridors. "Strong take. Weak serve or die." When Jack asked why Blue and some others had become friendly toward humans, the answer was unexpected. "Human strange," Blue chirped, its skin shifting to a lighter blue that they now recognized as indicating contentment. "Captured prey give food. Pat head. Speak soft. No hurt when could hurt. New feeling." Lisa entered the room with Sparkle following close behind her. "I think they're experiencing affection for the first time," she said. "Their society sounds completely devoid of it." The ticks explained that their homeworld was resource-poor and overpopulated. Their species had been searching the galaxy for new hunting grounds and territories to expand into. "Earth beautiful," Sparkle told Lisa through the translator. "Much water, much life. Take humans show hunting skill to home nest." But now, many ticks admitted they preferred being with humans to returning home. They enjoyed the attention, gentleness, and social bonds that humans offered, experiences unknown in their hierarchical society. As Jack sat with Blue later that evening, the small alien hesitantly reached out a three-fingered hand and placed it on Jack's arm, a gesture it had seen humans do with each other. "Blue stay with Jack friend?" it asked, its large eyes fixed on Jack's face. "Not return to Hunt World?" Before Jack could answer, alarms blared throughout the ship. On the main viewing screen, dozens of new tick vessels appeared, entering Earth's atmosphere. The invasion force had arrived. The main viewing screen showed hundreds of tick ships entering Earth's atmosphere, a full-scale invasion force. Humans gathered around the control room, watching in horror as the fleet descended. "They'll capture thousands more people," Tom said, his voice tight with fear. Jack turned to Blue. "Can you contact them? Tell them what's happened here." Blue's skin paled to a light blue, a sign of distress. "High hunters not listen to simple collect hunters. Blue no status." Lisa stepped forward. "What about the ship's commander? The one with the red band? Would they listen to him?" The humans had kept the highest-ranking ticks confined separately. The ship's commander, a tick they called Red, had refused all interaction. Now, they might need him. Jack and Dave went to Red's holding area, bringing Blue along. The commander sat rigidly, his dark blue skin showing no emotion. "We need your help," Jack said through the translator. "Your invasion fleet has arrived. Many will die, both humans and ticks, unless we can talk to them." Red made a dismissive clicking sound. "Prey does not command hunters." Blue stepped forward, lowering its head in the tick gesture of respect. "High Hunter, see new way possible. Humans not just prey. Can be more. Can be. It struggled with the concept, friend clan. Red studied Blue with contempt. You shame all hunters. Prey is prey. Jack had an idea. Let me show you something. He led Red, under guard, to the areas where humans and cooperative ticks were working together. Ticks were teaching humans about their technology, while humans showed ticks games, art, and music. Red watched silently, his rigid posture unchanged. Your society values hunting because it brings resources and status, Jack explained. But Earth has enough for both species if we work together. We can offer something your people have never had. What prey offer hunter? Red asked. Companionship. Purpose beyond competition. Look at them, Jack gestured to where a young human girl was gently stroking a small tick that purred in contentment. They're happy. A signal came through on the communication system, the invasion fleet demanding to speak with the ship's commander. Help us talk to them, Jack urged Red. Prevent unnecessary deaths. Red remained silent for a long moment, then spoke. I will speak. Not promise more. On the bridge, Red addressed the fleet commander, a larger tick with elaborate markings. Hi Fleet Hunter, situation complex, Red began formally. Request meeting. Bring small party only. Much to discuss. The fleet commander agreed, curious about the unusual request. As they prepared for the meeting, Blue approached Jack. Many high hunters not accept change. Danger still great. Jack nodded, placing a hand gently on Blue's head, a gesture the small alien now leaned into appreciatively. We'll show them what you showed us. That different species can find better ways to live than as hunter and prey. The meeting was set. Earth's fate would depend on what happened next. The meeting took place in a large hangar bay of the original ship. 6 high-ranking ticks arrived, their elaborate armbands and decorated armor showing their elite status. They looked with obvious disdain at the humans and the pet ticks that stood with them. Explain this disorder, demanded the fleet commander, a tick named Vex whose dark blue skin was marked with ritual scars. Red began with formal tick protocols, but Jack stepped forward. I'll show you instead of telling you. Jack gently picked up Blue and held the small alien close, stroking its head in a way that made Blue chirp contentedly. The tick commanders hissed in shock at seeing such handling of one of their kind. Sacrilege. Vex spat through the translator. Prey handles hunter. Blue, still nestled in Jack's arms, addressed the commanders directly, a serious breach of tick hierarchy. Not prey and hunter now. Jack friend and Blue friend. One by one, other human-bonded ticks came forward to share their experiences. Sparkle explained how Lisa had saved it from injury during the escape rather than causing harm. Chirp demonstrated how Bob had taught it to grow plants in the ship's small garden area. On our world, we have no softness, Blue told the commanders. Only take and serve. Humans teach new way. The tick commanders were visibly uncomfortable, their rigid society challenged by these new concepts. But one commander, slightly smaller than the others, moved closer to observe a young human child who was playing a simple game with 2 tick younglings. The small prey shows no fear, this commander noted with surprise. Because she's not prey to them anymore, Mary explained. They're her friends. They play together, learn together. Jack proposed a formal arrangement. Earth can be a place where our species meet differently. Not as hunter and prey, but as partners. Many of your people seem unhappy with your rigid system. Here, they've found something new. Vex seemed ready to reject the proposal outright, but the smaller commander spoke up. Our homeworld grows crowded. Resources dwindle. Wars between hunt clans increase. Perhaps, new path worth exploring. After hours of tense negotiation, an unprecedented agreement formed. A small region of Earth would become a cultural exchange zone, where ticks could experience this new relationship with humans. In return, the ticks would share their technology and knowledge of the stars. In the months that followed, something remarkable happened. More ticks chose to stay on Earth as companions to humans than return to their homeworld. They offered their advanced technology in exchange for the comfort and connections they had never experienced in their hierarchical society. Jack, now an official ambassador, lived in his rebuilt cabin with Blue and 3 other tick companions who helped maintain communication between humans and ticks. One evening, as Jack sat on his porch with Blue resting contentedly on his lap, he reflected on the strange turn of events. "You know," he said to Blue, "on Earth, we have a saying, a dog is man's best friend. I never thought we'd say the same about aliens who came to hunt us." Blue chirped happily. On Tick World, no word for friend. Only hunter and prey. Humans teach ticks new words, new life. The hunters had become companions, and both species were better for it.